All right, today we're jumping into a pretty stark and challenging passage from the book of Ezekiel. It's one of those sections that really makes you think, raising some tough questions about the limits of personal goodness when a whole society is facing judgment. What happens when a nation has just gone too far?
Okay, so to really get this, we have to set the stage. The prophet Ezekiel isn't just talking into the void here. He's right in the middle of a massive national crisis. I mean, the northern kingdom of Israel, they were exiled by Syria more than 100 years earlier. And now, his own nation, Judah, is in the middle of its own collapse. The first group of exiles has already been hauled off to Babylon, and the final devastating fall of Jerusalem, well, it's right around the corner. So this is the tense, desperate world that's hearing this message from God.
So let's turn to the text itself. God kicks things off with a direct warning that pretty quickly ramps up into a very specific and very severe consequence. Verse 13 really lays out the core of the problem. That phrase, trespassing grievously. We're not talking about small slip-ups. This describes a deep, persistent, national rebellion against God. For Judah, this was all about their deep-rooted idolatry and social injustice, stuff they had been warned about for generations. And the consequence? It's just as serious. God says he will stretch out his hand against them.
And the imagery God uses here, wow, it's powerful. The staff of the bread isn't just about loaves of bread. Think about it. A staff is something you lean on for support, right? So to break the staff of the bread means God is going to shatter the entire support system of the nation, its food supply, its economy, its very ability to function. This is a chilling foreshadowing of the brutal siege of Jerusalem, where famine became a horrifying reality.
And now we get to the absolute heart of the passage. God presents this kind of divine thought experiment. He pulls out three legendary figures of faith to make an unforgettable point about justice and accountability.
This is just a stunning statement. God is saying that even if you took 3 of the most righteous men in all of history and dropped them into this sinful land, their personal goodness would not be enough to shield the nation from its fate. They could save themselves, sure, but they couldn't save the whole society.
And you really have to appreciate the caliber of these guys. We're not talking about just good men. These were the gold standard of righteousness. You've got Noah, who was found perfect in a world that was completely corrupt. You've got Job, who stayed blameless even when he lost everything. And then there's Daniel, who was actually a contemporary of Ezekiel, a man whose integrity was so off the charts he earned the respect of pagan kings.
So here's the crucial point. There's this huge distinction between personal salvation and national consequence. Your own personal righteousness, your holiness, that secures your soul. But it doesn't automatically act like a get-out-of-jail-free card for an entire society's deep-seated unfaithfulness. A nation's fate is tied to its collective actions, and a few good people, even the best people, can't stop that judgment all by themselves.
But the argument doesn't stop there. In the next verses, God actually raises the stakes. He introduces a second, even more chaotic kind of judgment, just to drive the point home. So now, this verse introduces a judgment that just dismantles the safety and order of the land. It paints this picture where the land becomes so overrun and dangerous that you literally can't even travel through it. It's a symbol of a complete breakdown of civilization and security.
And that term, noisome beasts, it's about more than just literal wild animals. It really represents any destructive force, natural or social, that creates chaos and desolation. It's what happens when a society rots from the inside out. Order collapses and danger just takes over.
And this isn't just symbolic talk. The Bible itself gives us a real-world example of this. In the book of 2 Kings, after the Assyrians exiled the northern kingdom, they brought in foreigners to resettle the area, but because the land was neglected and the new folks didn't honor God, lions started attacking them. It's a literal case of how social collapse and spiritual neglect can cause the land itself to become hostile.
And here, God drives the point home in the most personal, gut-wrenching way possible. He swears an oath, "As I live," and says that even Noah, Daniel, and Job couldn't save their own sons or daughters from this national judgment. Their righteousness could only save themselves. It's just a brutal picture of how widespread sin touches everyone, even the families of the most faithful people.
So, after walking through all these intense verses, what's the final sobering takeaway here?
The message is about as clear as it gets. A nation's moral and spiritual health isn't some abstract idea. It has real, tangible consequences that affect every single person living there, no matter how righteous they are as an individual. Think of society as an ecosystem. If it gets sick, everyone in it feels the effects.
The bottom line is this: when you're facing a widespread judgment,
Your righteousness saves one soul, your own. It's absolutely crucial for you, but it's not some magic shield for a whole society that has lost its way.
And so this ancient text leaves us with a powerful question, one that's just as relevant for us today. It forces us to look beyond our own lives and think about our role, our responsibility, and our impact, not just as individuals, but as members of a much, much larger community. And that is a sobering thought to carry with us.